Welcome to this episode of our program Arab Affairs. Today we'll be speaking, just a few minutes ago, we have witnessed the session or the opening session of the Baghdad Conference for Cooperation and Partnership, in which President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi attended in Iraq, and the conference is attended by Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Jordan, Qatar, the United Arab Emirates, Turkey, Iran, and France as an observer and a contributor. The conference also attended by the Arab League, the Gulf Cooperation Council, and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has addressed the conference, stressing Egypt's refusal to all forms of foreign interventions and asserting that any violation to Iraq's sovereignty would be illegitimate. The president also called on the world powers to respect Iraq's people's choices and assume their responsibilities in finding stability and security for Iraq. He also said that Egypt aspires to launch constructive cooperation with Iraq and praised Iraqi achievements during the latest period under the leadership of Prime Minister Mustafa Kazemi, stressing his country or Egypt's full support to the Iraqi government, institutions and people. Wrapping up his address speech, the president conveyed a message to the Iraqi people calling for the necessity of protecting their own country and cooperating in building their country and participating in the upcoming parliamentary elections. We'll be speaking or addressing this conference that is held in Iraq and that comes at the backdrop of many developments worldwide and in the region. We'll be speaking about that in our episode. Before we delve into our discussion, let's first have a quick look on the Arab news that took place during this week, and we'll come back for more discussion.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi reiterated on Thursday Egypt's total support to Sudan in the aftermath of deadly floods that swept through a number of Sudanese districts. In a telephone call, President al-Sisi sent his heartfelt condolences to head of the Sudanese Transitional Council, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, over the flood victims. Presidential spokesman Bassam Rodi said that al-Burhan thanked President al-Sisi for Egypt's continuous support to his country, citing special relations between both Cairo and Khartoum. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi directed to establish a new generation of imams and preachers to formulate a disciplined religious discourse that preserve Islam's Sharia and principles. President al-Sisi's remarks came during his meeting with Minister of Endowment Mohammed Mukhtar Gum'a on Thursday. The meeting reviewed efforts to upgrade the endowment authority and means of qualifying new preachers within the state strategy to spread and clarify the moderate concepts of Islam. Prime Minister Mustafa Madbouli headed on Thursday the Cabinet weekly meeting in the new Alamein headquarters. The meeting covered the latest measures taken to curb the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic and the ongoing vaccination campaign. During the meeting, the Premier gave directives to accelerate the vaccination process for individuals in the education sector before the beginning of the academic year. Minister of Health Hala Zaid said that the number of vaccination centers has been increased to 678 centers, adding that 1.3 million government employees were vaccinated. Morocco regretted on Wednesday the completely unjustified decision of the neighboring Algeria to break off diplomatic ties. Morocco's foreign ministry said in a statement that the move was expected in view of the logic of escalation observed in recent weeks. The statement said that Morocco categorically rejected the fallacious, even absurd, pretexts underlying it. Algeria formally announced the decision on Tuesday, citing a series of alleged hostile acts. The move culminates a period of growing tension between the two countries, which are mired in a decades-long feud with their borders close to each other. A Palestinian has died from injuries sustained during weeks of clashes with Israeli occupation forces on the border with Gaza. The 32-year-old Palestinian martyr died after being shot by Israeli forces on Saturday. Hamas said that among the wounded was a 13-year-old boy who was shot in the head and left in critical condition. Israel struck Gaza again overnight on Monday and Tuesday. Palestinian factions in the Israeli-blockaded enclave have called a new protest on the border near the south of Gaza city of Khan Yunis on Wednesday. Millions of people in Syria and Iraq are at risk of losing access to water, electricity and food amid rising temperatures, record low water levels due to lack of rainfall and drought. International aid groups warned on Monday that the groups said that the two neighboring countries, both battered by years of conflict and mismanagement, are in need of rapid action to combat severe water shortages.
Right, welcome back. And earlier, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi held a meeting with the Iraqi, with his Iraqi counterpart Barham Saleh at Baghdad Presidential Palace, and that came ahead of the Baghdad conference. Presidential spokesman Ambassador Bassem Radi said the two leaders discussed bilateral relations and issues of mutual concerns. During the meeting, President Sisi said that Egypt's concerns and interest to boost the strategic relations with Iraq, expressing his country's full support to the Iraqi people in all fields at the bilateral level and the trilateral level through the framework of the cooperation mechanism with or among Iraq, Jordan and Egypt. On his part, the Iraqi president welcomed President Sisi's visit, highlighting the importance of continuing coordination and consultation with Egypt at all levels. Radi said that President Sisi participation in the conference comes within the framework of Egypt's keenness on supporting Iraq in restoring its active and balanced role at the regional level and the international one as well. It also praises the role Egypt play in guaranteeing the security and stability of the region. The Baghdad Conference for Cooperation and Partnership kicked off today, and it takes place with the backdrop of Taliban's taking over of Afghanistan and the deadly attack in Kabul overshadowing the gathering, and the the new threat of Taliban terrorism. The conference tackles means of solving regional issues and paves the way for establishing partnership, cooperation and economic integration between Iraq, its neighbors, and all the friendly countries who are concerned. In this regard, Iraqi President Barham Saleh said the conference contributes to reducing tension and crises in the region, pointing out that the wide participation reflects the international attention given to Iraq. From this perspective, we will be speaking today, but let me say that this is not the first visit of President Sisi to Iraq, rather it's the second, and there were other meetings between President Sisi, the Iraqi president, and King of Jordan, with Iraq on the bilateral level, and with Jordan and Iraq on the trilateral level, or this tripartite agreement that was held recently. Before we speak more, let's have this report on the issue of these previous meetings, and we'll come back for more discussion.
Iraqi Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi said that his country is keen on cementing cooperation with Egypt and Jordan across different fields, notably in the economy, trade and investment. Al-Kadhimi made the remarks during a press encounter that he held on Thursday in Baghdad with head of the Supreme Council for Media Regulation Karam Gabr and editors-in-chief of the Middle East news agency Al-Ahram, Al-Akhbar, Al-Jumhuriyya, as well as a number of Arab and foreign journalists. The press encounter comes ahead of an Iraqi summit in Baghdad expected to be held on Saturday to calm tensions between Iran and its Gulf Arab foes and discuss the crises in Yemen and Lebanon. Iraq has invited Egypt, Jordan, Turkey, and the French President Emmanuel Macron to attend the summit, which is co-organized by France. Leaders from Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey have also been invited. During the press encounter, the Iraqi premier added that electricity linkage and oil project would benefit the three countries' economies. He noted that Iraq is in need of building political, economic, and social partnerships with fellow Arab and Islamic states, along with friendly countries. He went on to say that Iraq looks forward to cooperation with neighboring countries to solve regional issues. Al-Kadhimi stressed that his country seeks to restore normal relations with neighboring states by focusing on cultural aspects and fostering economic ties, in addition to propagating the values of peace, love, and fraternity.
Be the first to know